Memories laid bare in the light. He dwells on such worries that cripple him so.
That is the sound of Newcastle West man Paul Dunworth. Paul, good to see you again. It's been a while.
It's been a while, Trevor. Thanks for having me back.
Not at all. Okay, that's a song from your new EP and the last of a trilogy of EPs you've released. Tell us about this one.
Yeah, so this one is called The House of Dawn. So I suppose it's just within Irish mythology, Dawn is said to be the god of the dead, who resides in Techdown, and basically he's the guardian of the dead, and he oversees the souls of the departed and brings them over to the afterlife. So I suppose it's just more imagery about an EP. It's a bit on the darker side, if that gives anything away. So it's a darker elements, kind of inner turmoil, addiction, regret, isolation, fear, anxiety.
Very heavy themes, Paul. I suppose, what attracts you to writing about them or even finding out about the mythology in the first place?
I suppose just reading through it, as far as the darker elements of writing, I don't know, I've always been attracted to that side of things. I'm quite interested in the macabre, the darker side of things sometimes. Not always. I'm not always that depressing guy in the corner. But I enjoy, it's quite organic the way it just comes out. I just let it happen the way it happens. It's not, sometimes it just happens and you don't have to think about it too much, you know what I mean? Because then it usually goes downhill if you do. Yeah,
it's not a good place to be. But no. But in terms of songwriting, and I suppose what's interesting, Paul, is the fact that you have such heavy themes there, but your guitar playing is so melodic as well. That's just it's a very interesting contrast of it.
Yeah, there's a contrast there. I suppose It could almost have like pop kind of melodies at times, but no, I mean, I the melody is a separate thing for me. Sometimes if I'm writing, the melody might come first, and then I might fit lyrical content within that, or vice versa sometimes. But usually, if I'm playing around and I come up with a bit of an idea, but yeah, it's just a contrast that seems to happen. Maybe my music should be darker, inverted commas, but it kind of it comes out that way.
Yeah, that's your style, and that's great. Paul, in terms of the format, EP format as opposed to an album, is it easier to do? Is it just like you've your 4 songs, you can concentrate, you can put an awful lot of time and effort into those, as opposed to trying to get maybe 10 songs out for an album?
Yeah, so it's like five songs on it. Well, I mean, it's not so much the songs, it's the time limit. So I suppose LP long play is like, you might have 50 to an hour kind of timeline, where an EP is usually half hour, 35, 40 minutes kind of thing. So I just do it in little slots like that. I find it easier to do that. I mean, I know people like doing big chunks of albums, but I find that with like releasing it in smaller doses, like I think for a lot of people in the modern world now, an album seems like an awful lot to kind of
a long
digest.
time. So yeah, absolutely.
More than one song is usually for people, because they have their playlists or whatever, and so I just find the format works better for me. Like, so yeah.
That's it. Okay, when we think of Paul Dunworth, I maybe think of you and your guitar, but you've a full band for this one.
Yeah. It's just to enhance the songs, really. I have a great band. Mark Dowling on drums, we have Peter Hannigan on double bass, and we have Liam Hunt on saxophone, and we have Declan O'Keefe, who's doing a little support slot beforehand. But yeah, it's just to enhance the songs. I mean, the band vibe is completely different. So like, even sometimes, like, we were rehearsing the last week or so, and some of the songs I hadn't really heard in a band context, because the EP, my current EP is really just me, guitar, some kind of overdose of backing vocals, and some piano, keyboard, pads kind of thing. So it didn't really have the full band thing, but so it's a completely different context, and like, it's lovely to hear. It kind of brings them alive, so that'll be the full band in we're playing the Red Door Gallery in Newcastle West. So the doors are open at 5 p.m.
This next Saturday now?
Yeah, Saturday coming, 5 p.m. And we'll be doing about an hour and 20, an hour and a half set kind of thing. So we'll do the EP and some other stuff that I've done as well. Okay,
and then eventually, maybe not a tour, but a few dates anyway.
Yeah, I have a few dates that I'm working on at the minute. I've a couple confirmed, so hopefully get around, and it would be nice to bring the band around. So we'll see how that goes. And the reaction to your songs, and I mean this, you're a very individual, you have a very individual voice. You know what I mean? I mean, when you hear your voice, I know it's you, but I'm not going to be singing any like Celine Dion. I can't imagine it. Freddie Mercury or anything. Unless Celine is going very dark places. But in terms of getting your name out there, and you've released a good few EPs at this stage, and then when there's a break, and then you come back again and trying to get your name back out there, is that hard again? Yeah, I mean the environment is tough. There's no doubt about it. But I think, venues are kind of suffering at the moment as well. I think there's a lot going around either way with both musicians and venues. Yeah. Because I just don't think they're the crowds that used to be there, I suppose there has been a bit of a decline. Like, I've even been onto some guys like the venue owners, and like they've been saying that to me as well. So it is a bit of a struggle at times, but you just kind of get on with it. Yeah. That's all you can do, isn't it? Well, it's your passion, it's what you believe in. So listen, Paul, best of luck with the EP launch next Saturday at the Red Door in Newcastle West. And Paul, before you go, you'll play us something else, please.
Yeah, that's
essential. Sorry, it's a bit early in the morning now.
It is very early to ask you.
This is a song called The Prince of Maiden Street, and it was a song I wrote actually about the poet Michael Hartnett, because I had done an album of his poems years ago, and it's basically inspired by my parents used to run a bed and breakfast, and Michael Hartnett actually stayed a couple of times, and I actually met him, but it was more about for a man that was so revered and like respected, and just to have issues with addiction. So it's called the Prince of Maiden Street because he used to live apart in Newcastle West, Maiden Street. He used to live there, and they called him the Prince of Maiden Street.
Okay, very good, Paul.
So here we go.
So curious for a man of such stature, profound that silver tongue his imagination would capture, but yet he lays here helpless to a world passing by. My work is done here, he states, looking up to the sky. Oh, oh,
Now, Paul Dunworth. Paul, thanks very much for coming in, and that EP launch.
September 7th, yeah, next Saturday at 5 o'clock at the Red Door Gallery in Newcastle West.
Thanks,
Trevor.
Paul.